What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Marvel Wolverine story that's been going around the internet, and that it's basically Microsoft thinks the game is releasing in 2023. Now, that's the short of it. What this basically comes from is this whole Activision Blizzard drama going on, well, not even just online, going on in the real world, right where Microsoft and Sony are basically battling it out to say, hey, are they actually able to buy them? And in one of Microsoft's kind of reports, one of their things where they're kind of breaking down, hey, here's why we think this should be allowed, and this is why you should discount what Sony is saying. They listed a couple games that they believe, and they say it as if it's just fact, right? They say like Sony has or PlayStation has their 2023 slate, and it goes through several games, right? Final Fantasy 16 is on there, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is on there, and Marvel's Wolverine is on there. So they lump it in with the other games that are pretty confirmed, right? Sony is confirmed. We know Final Fantasy 16 is summer 2023. Spider-Man is supposed to be 2023, right? Whether it gets delayed or not, but Microsoft throws in Wolverine. Now, this has created a real back and forth of, does Microsoft know Sony's release schedule? And this is a tough one because I go back and forth where I just really don't think Wolverine comes out next year. Now, I know Insomniac has put out more than one game in a year before. In fact, they just recently did it with Ratchet & Clank, and then in the fall, they did Miles Morales. So they literally did it back 2 years ago in 2020. The issue is, because of all their different teams, we don't exactly know the progress of one. Well, we do. I mean, they have kind of talked about where their progress with Wolverine is, and they've made it kind of clear that Wolverine is incredibly early. Like, they're not that far, and they said that last year, but I still think that, that relatively holds up. But I kind of go back and forth because, like, is it possible? I don't want to throw out the idea because, oh, well, Alex, Insomniac can't release more than one game in a year. Well, yeah, they can. They absolutely can. So that argument kind of doesn't work. Now, I would listen to an argument where Spider-Man 2 most definitely is next fall. It's not, like, in the first half. And Wolverine is most likely next fall, if it even comes out in 23, not the first half, right? We can all agree on that. So I would hear the argument that there's no way Insomniac would put out two games in the same, let's say, 3 to 4 month span. That would be one of the stupidest things on planet Earth to do, and they just wouldn't do it. So I would listen to that. On the flip side, then you can talk about the Microsoft part, right? Does Microsoft know? I do firmly believe these companies know the internal stuff of the other. Not like top secret, like super information, right? But I do think maybe like release schedules, these companies do relatively know each other's. That's a guess. I don't know if anybody's actually ever said it out loud, but it wouldn't surprise me if Microsoft knows, hey, Sony is aiming for September, October range for Spider-Man 2. Like, if Sony knows that, I think Microsoft possibly, probably, whatever P word you want to say, they know it as well, okay? So I don't want to discount that either because Microsoft may know what they're talking about, but I just can't imagine. I really can't imagine Wolverine coming out next year. So while it's interesting that Microsoft throws it in, they throw it in as fact. They throw it in legal documents, and that's the thing people are pointing out. This is legal stuff that's getting read through and all this stuff, and Sony can kind of go back and forth with it. And the thing is, like, well, if Sony doesn't correct that, and maybe Sony doesn't have to, but if Sony doesn't kind of say, hey, we never said Wolverine's 2023, if they don't do that, does that mean it is fact, it is true, because it's in there, and I don't know how much the legal stuff, like, holds it. That's my question. But from just kind of taking a few steps back, right, just being an onlooker on this, Wolverine, the way they even said it, in fact, I do believe there was an article that talked about, I don't know if it said specific years, but I do think like 2024 beyond was kind of mentioned, and maybe that was because of when they said they started working on it and how many years they planned. I don't remember the exact details, but I do think there was an article that basically made it crystal clear the game is not, I mean, it could come out in 2024. Honestly, it could come out in 2025. I do remember a interview or something with that team, or the head of that team in Insomniac, when they showed it last September at the PlayStation Showcase, and I'm pretty sure it kind of put to bed the idea that it was going to be 2023 with Spider-Man. Where it lands, 24, 25, it's just not 23. So Microsoft kind of throws in a little curveball to make it a little bit more exciting. I respect that. I like that. But I don't just don't. Next year will be pretty exciting for PlayStation in general, but I just don't think they're going to have Spider-Man and Wolverine. Again, even for the simple idea that both probably wouldn't be ready at best, at absolute best, until like September through December. And releasing two Sony games during that time is probably okay, but two games by the same, developer, obviously different teams, but same developer, and they're both superhero games in a 4-month span, that is a really bad idea. Really bad. And I think they know that, and that would never happen. So I'm going to call BS on it. I don't know what Microsoft's doing, but I just don't think that's accurate, honestly. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.